squash his beef with Yo like he did everybody else. I think it's more so about the girl, his wife, and no disrespect to her, but would you be willing to squash some beef with somebody who had sex with your wife? You know, maybe while you was in prison, I don't know when it was or whatever.
Oh, Lord.
And supposed to be your friend.
Here's what's wild. It looks like the Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane situation is heating back up after Pooh Shiesty came home and Gotti allegedly started moving funny with the very CEO who helped him on some straight snake behavior. Behind all the success of the CMG empire, word is Gotti was making moves on Pooh Shiesty while he was still locked down, fully aware this could reopen a dangerous beef that nearly derailed both their careers before. And listen to this. The real story behind how a basic record deal spiraled into full-blown street politics has the entire industry watching, because it was way more strategic than anybody realized. And yeah, we about to unpack all of this. Now, before we really break this down, let me keep it all the way real with y'all. Social media has been going crazy with rumors about Pooh Shiesty wanting out of 1017 while Gotti keeps posting him like the paperwork already says CMG. Pooh Shiesty was finally coming home from his federal sentence, and while he was sitting down, the whole game shifted. The young dude was ready to jump back into the bag, but what he didn't expect was his own label boss acting weird when it came to the money. Now hold up, before you chalk this up as just another boring contract issue, this is about loyalty, respect, and two OGs who already had tension simmering under the surface. But here's where it really gets spicy. When your biggest artist wants to bounce to your biggest enemy, that's when business turns personal. So let me rewind the tape to when Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti were actually cool. We talking early 20-teens, when these two were running the South side by side. Both of them came straight out of the trenches, Gucci repping Zone 6 in Atlanta, Gotti holding down North Memphis, and Real definitely recognized Real. This wasn't some fake industry friendship for cameras and promo runs. There was genuine respect there, because both of them earned everything the hard way. Gucci was already stamped as the trap god, but he saw something in Gotti that felt familiar. That hunger, that rawness, that do whatever it takes mindset to escape the hood. For those who weren't really outside during that era, you gotta understand something. Collaborative mixtapes between two already established rappers weren't normal like they are now. So when Gucci and Gotti dropped tapes together, it felt like watching two heavyweights spar at their peak. Every song slapped, every hook stuck, and the streets couldn't get enough of it. But hold up, this is where the story gets deeper than friendship. October 17th, 2012. That date meant everything to Gucci Mane because it represented his brand, 1017. He had been pushing his Trap God mixtape for months. Interviews, posts, non-stop promotion, drilling that date into everyone's head. And in this industry, timing is everything. When you drop can make or break your run, especially back then when mixtapes still carried real weight. Gucci had that date locked, and everyone in his circle knew this was his moment to cement 1017 as a real power. The promo budget was spent, the features were confirmed, distribution was lined up, everything was screaming that October 17th belonged to Gucci. But here's the kicker. Gotti announced he was dropping CM7 The World Is Yours on the same day. Now, Gotti said he didn't know, but let me explain why that timing raised real eyebrows. These dudes were close, they were actively working together, and Gucci had been hyping that date for months, so how do you not know your guy is dropping the same day? According to Gotti, when he realized the overlap, he was actually hyped. He thought it would be fire for both of them to drop together and break the internet. In his head, it was a celebration of their bond and their southern dominance. But that was fan logic, not business thinking. For those who don't understand the industry side, let me break it down. When two artists with overlapping fan bases drop on the same day, everything gets split. Attention, streams, sales, all of it. It's like opening two restaurants right next to each other. Both might eat, but neither is feasting the way they could have. And it goes deeper than numbers. Your release date is your spotlight moment, your chance to own the conversation. When someone else drops that same day, especially someone in your circle, it waters down your impact. Instead of every blog focusing on you, coverage gets divided. And then there's the emotional side. Gucci had built October 17th up as something sacred, so having even a friend step into that spotlight felt like crossing a line. Gotti tried to reach out and clear it up. According to him, he called Gucci immediately, thinking they'd handle it like brothers. No answer. He tried again, still nothing. He even contacted people around Gucci asking for a call back, but that phone stayed silent. And honestly, I get why Gucci was hot. Not only was his homie dropping on his date, but Gotti had just released the I Got Racks remix with T.I. and Jeezy, and everybody knew Jeezy was Gucci's biggest enemy at the time. Eventually, Gotti got through after Gucci tweeted about it. The tweet was slick but loud. Why would another artist drop on 1017 if they're not Brick Squad? You ain't me, Trap God. That was Gucci calling out the disrespect without saying names. According to Gotti, they talked it out, and he thought things were cool. He even pushed his release back to October 18th out of respect. But during that call, Gucci wasn't even stuck on the date anymore. He was furious about the Jeezy and T.I. collaboration. Gucci went on the radio and said his real issue was Gotti trying to ride his wave by dropping on 1017 without being Brick Squad. That wasn't just anger, that was hurt. But here's where it got messy. Gucci dropped birds of a feather and said, "I used to fuck with Gotti until he turned into a buster." Sit with that for a second. Your close friend just called you a buster on wax for the whole world. Gotti was definitely hurt, and at first he tried to stay above it, but eventually he had to respond. He dropped Have Mercy, and from there, it was over. The friendship was officially done. The record wasn't the most vicious diss we've ever heard, but it sent a clear message that Gotti wasn't about to let Gucci slide with disrespect without responding. Now hold up, because this is where we have to talk about the elephant sitting dead center in the room. During a Breakfast Club interview, Gotti admitted he had been with Keisha Kaur, who is now Gucci's wife. And the way Gotti told it, he spoke on it like it was just part of the game. You know how the game goes. I didn't know you were in love and all that. So let me walk y'all through exactly how this situation even unfolded. At the time, Gucci was locked up for violating his probation. He had only knocked out 25 hours out of the required 600 of community service. Because of that, the judge revoked his probation and sentenced him to a full year in jail.
Taken to jail as after a judge revoked part of Radrick Davis's probation. Prosecutors complained that the rapper had only completed 25 hours of the 600 hours of community service he was ordered to perform.
Good afternoon, Fred. The judge said, judging by his record, Radrick Davis, otherwise known as Gucci Mane, is not.
While Gucci was locked up, unable to protect his relationship or even communicate properly with Keisha, Gotti made his move. According to Gotti, he didn't think Gucci was that serious about her. He brushed it off like it was casual, just how the streets go. But let's be real, that's street snake behavior. Because even if you didn't know it was serious, you don't touch your homie's woman while he's behind bars. And what made it even nastier was how Gotti spoke on it publicly. He was laughing, joking, acting like it was nothing. But then, things took a darker turn. In 2013, Gucci got locked up again, this time facing up to 20 years on 2 counts of being a felon in possession of a firearm. The feds caught him with weapons in 2 separate incidents, and with his record, they were ready to bury him under the jail. Ironically, that prison sentence ended up saving his life. When Gucci came home in 2016, he wasn't the same guy. He was clean, focused, healthier, and not chasing chaos. He dropped 40 pounds in his first 2 months just from detoxing off lean. He had a new child, his label was thriving, and it really looked like he had moved past petty beefs. The old Gucci would have been on Twitter wilding, dissing everybody, starting new wars every week. But the new Gucci was locked in on business. Better music, smarter signings, a real empire, not just talk. Fast forward to 2020, and Gucci signs a young Memphis artist named Pooh Shiesty. And listen, this kid was different. He had that raw, unfiltered street energy that reminded people of the old Gucci, but with a modern edge that spoke to the younger crowd. Pooh's story fit 1017 perfectly. Same type of upbringing Gucci came from. The streets, the struggle, the grind. But more than that, he had that hunger you can't teach, that desperation to escape that creates stars. Then, everything stopped. Pooh brought a federal case and got locked up on conspiracy charges. In October 2021, Pooh Shiesty was arrested on firearms conspiracy charges and later sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. For most artists, that's career-ending. Prison kills momentum, kills buzz, kills relevance. During that stretch, Gucci was loud about his support. He publicly talked about how much he missed Pooh, how he couldn't wait for him to come home, how 1017 was holding it down for their star. Gucci even trimmed the roster down to almost nobody, keeping only Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano. But while Pooh was sitting down, the game didn't stop. Other artists were getting massive deals, streaming numbers across the industry were exploding, and the market value of hot artists was climbing fast. So when Pooh finally came home, he realized something. His value had skyrocketed. And that's when Yo Gotti entered the picture. CMG has been on a crazy signing run, scooping up talent and paying them properly. Gotti started posting Pooh Shiesty all over social media, showing love. And this wasn't light support. We're talking full promotion, the kind that pulls millions of views and creates real buzz. He even sent his biggest female star, Glorilla, to lock in a record with Pooh. And trust me, the timing wasn't accidental. Gotti knew Pooh Shiesty's 1017 deal was coming up for renegotiation, and he was positioning CMG as the better home. That was a chess move by someone who understands the business at a high level. According to people close to the situation, when it came time to renegotiate, Gucci's offers were way below Pooh's market value. We're talking lowball numbers, numbers that didn't match the streams, the cultural impact, or the earning power. Industry insiders said the offers were borderline disrespectful. These were rookie deals, not superstar contracts. It felt like Gucci was leaning on loyalty instead of rewarding it. Now, to be fair, Gucci isn't the type to run to social media about business. He's not internet like that. The old Gucci might have been tweeting through it, but the new Gucci handles things behind closed doors. Still, sources say he's not happy about Gotti trying to snatch his biggest artist. And honestly, who would be? You invest in someone, build them from the ground up, give them their first real shot, then your enemy tries to grab them when they blow. That's like raising a kid just for your opportunity to show up when they're successful and claim them. And for Gucci, this probably feels too familiar. Once again, it looks like Gotti is trying to profit off something Gucci already built from the ground up. First, it was him trying to ride Gucci's wave with that October 17th release. Now it's him circling Gucci's biggest artist. But hold up, the landscape isn't the same as it was during their first beef. Back then, both of them were moving on relatively equal footing. Today, Gotti has a larger platform, deeper pockets, and arguably more pull in the industry. CMG is widely viewed as one of the hottest labels out right now, while 1017 has struggled to stay relevant outside of Pooh Shiesty. So the real question becomes, what's going through Pooh Shiesty's mind? On one side, there's loyalty to the label that gave him his first real shot. Gucci took a chance on him when most people wouldn't. He gave him a platform and helped him turn into a star. And in the streets, that kind of loyalty is supposed to carry real weight. Still, some rules never change in the streets. Disrespect is always going to be disrespect. If Pooh Shiesty walks away from 1017 and lands at CMG, that sends a loud message. It tells artists that loyalty has a ceiling. If your label isn't valuing you properly, there are other doors open. That mindset could spark a wave of artists pushing for better deals or jumping ship to places that appreciate their worth. If you want more breakdowns on the business side of hip-hop and the real stories behind the headlines, tap into our other videos. We go deep into label politics, artist contracts, and the behind-the-scenes drama that really shapes the culture. Until next time, fam, stay dangerous. And remember, in this game, loyalty is everything, until it's not.